Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Reboot It. Tonight we're joined by
Benny Carnes.
and not Mick Douglas. Mick is in a conference and has such connection problems. We're going to bump him over to next week or week after. But we will have him on. He's doing some exciting stuff, releasing new tools, and apparently now we have a dog on the podcast. Is everything okay there, Benny?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. I didn't know if I should alert the authorities or something. So apologize for not being around. It's been a crazy month. It's probably been a month since we've done a podcast. And we sort of strung a few stories together, but we may stop. I think we're going to talk a lot about HackerCon because Benny's on, and we're only a few weeks away from HackerCon. So
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't catch him in the next couple of weeks, then he's doing a class and a talk at HackerCon.
well, I mean, we could. The thing about it is, I do this on Google Hangouts, so we could do it, but we'd have to sit in the same room on an internet cloud connection. You
No,
know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
what I'm saying is people can actually see him at HackerCon.
Well, I see what you're saying. I didn't know he was going to be at HackerCon.
Oh yeah, he's doing the.
Oh, I guess so. It's been a long month. Yeah, I remember all that now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's teaching a class on PowerShell, and he's also teaching or giving a talk on PowerShell.
Well, my voting machine has not been unpacked. We're going to save it for HackerCon, and Justin Rokowski is going to see if he can't dump the firmware. So
Yeah, he was actually asking me about it earlier today.
I just sent him the model. It's
Okay.
one of the same models they used at DEF CON. So we should be
Nice.
able to use some of the write-ups to do some of the things they did. Plus, if we will find some new stuff that we can do our own write-ups with.
Yep, that'd be good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is shaping up to be a heck of a year.
Yes, good times. I was just looking at pictures. I was trying to find a picture of something for somebody and found pictures of HackerCon 3. What a great crowd.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. It's the talk that Martin and Eric Milam did on passwords, and that would have been what, 2012? Yep,
13.
2012.
Oh yeah,
According to my records, 2012.
Yes, sorry.
So it's the same year that LawSec was raging. You know, the Summer of Laws, and Summer of Laws had just ended apparently about that time, because this is October 22nd, 2012. So if you want to see a picture of that, go over on my Facebook.
Cool. Yeah, there was one that on my Facebook timeline, it was like, hey, this happened 5 years ago. And it was a picture of us at HackerCon.
Yep. Well, sometimes you'll like repost them and they'll put it back in your memories, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's much older than that.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about APT, Internet of Things, botnets, ransomware, and other things that go bump in the night. Happy Halloween to everyone. Also, happy All Souls Day, and we're that much closer to the Feast of St. Andrews, so I can wear my kilt out in public. Although I'm thinking about wearing it for Halloween.
Tell them what else you're going to have with it.
Liquor and a first prize.
A blue ribbon.
A blue ribbon, exactly.
Yeah.
Some kid was playing that in the engineering building the other day. I thought that was hilarious. That song's like a bazillion years old. I'm like, is this Back to the Future? That was like when I was sitting over on the Student Plaza one day and they were playing like music from 1991. It was like Smash Mouth. Anyway,
well, that's classic to them.
Oh yeah, well, I mean they seem to enjoy it. Upcoming conferences, there's a bunch of them in there. The most important one to us, of course, is Secure WD HackerCon 8 DHO, November 17th and 19th in South Charleston, West Virginia. Benny, do you have updates on the conference?
No. Yes. So this year, as Bill was talking about, we are going to have a voting machine hacking village. But we're also going to have ham technician testing on Sunday. We're having RCBI is talking about IoT devices as well as connected cars.
Yeah.
Was talking with Josh Brunty yesterday, and John Salmons is going to do some vehicle forensics in the forensics track. Trying to think. So the ham radio operators that are coming in, Aaron West and Rob West, are actually going to give a talk on Saturday about a thing called FL Digi, and then they're going to be in the village area.
Is Gordon West going to be there?
Gordon West, no.
That's an inside amateur radio joke.
Okay, but Adam West will be there.
No, Gordon West is like the guy who taught me Morse code.
Okay.
He does done training for like 100 years. The man has to be like literally like 101 years old.
Cool. So then they're going to set up and actually do like live demos, passing traffic back and forth in the village room. And the village room is where the hardware hacking was last year. So T-shirts have been ordered. They are on their way. Hopefully we'll get them not next Friday, but the Friday after. Badges will be coming in Tuesday, I believe. And this year we're doing something a little different. We ordered wristbands in the hopes that anyone that is looking for a job, that they will have one colored wristband, and then anybody that is looking to hire, they'll have another color wristband.
What if you're just looking for a date?
That will be a third wristband. No,
yeah.
You get both of them at the same time, and so anyway, essentially, the vendors and or other people, because not everybody that's hiring is going to be a vendor. Some people are just there as as well, and so basically that'll be a way for people to kind of be in contact. And also on Sunday, when you come to take the ham test, the people will get it when they come in to register for the test. They'll get a wristband, and they will go in, and that means that they can just go, basically take the test and kind of hang out a little bit. Oh man, so much has happened. We this year, we've got another panel with RCBI. We had one speaker who never returned our acceptance email, and we gave him a few weeks to get back with us. So we're having to move him off the schedule, and we're putting RCBI on that. And it's kind of sad because his talk seemed really good, and it was about capture the flags, capture flag games, and how, looking at how to play them. And let's see, it's No One Left Behind, security defense through gamification, including CTFs. So I was really looking forward to that one. And of course, we've got the CTF this year. It is my original thought process kind of got pushed to the side, and essentially we're going to have 8 to 10 servers out there that people will be able to get onto and look at and get flags off of and stuff. So
Awesome.
and not every one of them have web servers this year. So that's a little different. Normally we have, each one has a web server and you put your team name on there and you would get a point every time it goes. So not every one of them have a web server. So you have to figure out how to get on that box and, get the flags plus, get your name on the web pages.
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
I actually am teaching a class for the first time in the spring on web app testing, and that's going to be fun because I have to pick a book and write it.
You have to pick a book and write it?
Mm-hmm.
Or you mean you have to write the
No, I have to write the class. I have to get.
Oh, okay. The curriculum.
Yeah.
I thought you had to write the book.
I don't
like,
know
wow,
that I'll ever write another book. I mean, the thing is it's just so hard.
Yeah. Well, I need to continue on. We've got a couple of new sponsors this year.
I'm sorry, I'm playing with the audio clips. Go ahead. I'm playing with like the soundboard. Go ahead.
So we have a new group called Agile 5 Technologies. They're out of Fairmont, and then
what do they do?
They are kind of a hold on, I'm going to the page real quick. They do software development and other such type things like that. One of the guys who's teaching one of the classes this year actually works for him. His name is Adam Vincent, and he actually is. His class is going to be security through Ansible automation.
Mm-hmm.
He gave a talk on an hour-long talk last year on something similar, SSH and Ansible, and I asked him last year. I said, "Hey, how about doing a full-blown class?" So he's doing a class on Saturday morning. Anyway, his company is sponsoring, and then also we have Red Hat is sponsoring. So, and then I guess a new one, and I haven't gotten these out on social media yet, but we've had a company that has helped us a couple of years. It's a local company out of Huntington, Superior Office Service. They're helping us again this year and sponsoring us. So that's pretty neat to have repeat sponsors. And of course, the others are like Greenbrier, Infusion Points, Trusted Sec. The CTF prizes are from Hack5. The Hardware Hacking Village is SME, Systems Management Enterprises. You guys are sponsoring the forensics track, and then Stealth Care, Cyber Intelligence, RCBI, and I've already mentioned the others. So those are all. I mean, we've got the sponsors laid out. I verified everything with the hotel. If anyone is looking to get a room and they're dragging their feet, we had 20 rooms originally, and they basically were down to 18 when I talked to her last night. Evidently, they're down to one left.
Yeah. So one room left in the room block at this point.
Yep. But we're opening up 10 more rooms, and the close date is now November 6th, which is a week and a half from now. So that'll be pretty good. And then we're Greenbrier and Sonic Wall are buying everybody lunch on Saturday.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
I like lunch.
Yep.
I'm wearing my Trusted Sec socks right now, by the way.
Yeah. So did you fill out their survey?
I did.
Yeah. I told him, yeah, I said the same thing. I was like, hey, I like the socks, you know.
Yeah, I did it like when they first asked because as a conference organizer, feedback is important, even if it's negative. And I had nothing negative to say about DerbyCon this year. It was the
Nope, me
best
neither.
conference ever. So kind of sad to leave the Hyatt and go over to a new hotel, but it
Yeah,
is
but it's
what it
right
is.
next.
I'm probably going to stay in the Hyatt still.
Yeah, same here.
It'll be a lot quieter over there.
Yeah, I was going to say it'll be quieter. Also, Adam Vincent will also be doing a PGP key signing party on Friday and Saturday nights. Saturday night is also the hacker karaoke. But he's going to give like a 30-minute, here's what PGP, maybe not even that long, but he's going to explain what it is, how to do it, get everybody set up, and then everybody can then pass their keys back and forth during this party. So, but he's going to do it both Friday and Saturday nights. So it'll be
Awesome.
pretty fun. Trying to think, man, there's so much stuff that, I mean, who would have thought we would have had this much stuff going on 5 years ago?
Very true. Very true. Our biggest probably up to this point was HackerCon 3, which was a pretty big turnout. And I think we're going to exceed that this year. And,
Yeah, we did that last year, actually.
Did we?
Yep.
I think it's the difference in the space that we're in is that it looks different when you look at the crowd because we have a lot more tracks than we have in the past too.
Yeah, and I think that really is the reason.
Are you there?
Sorry, I keep coughing. Yeah, I'm trying to mute.
I was afraid you passed out or something. Oh, hang on a second. I've got. Hang on.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Nope.
Okay. I was just going through the audio library, and I don't know how to use it. It was like a man coughing.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I should go back to maybe turning that off. But anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, registrations are really strong. With SecurityWV1, we had 30 days out. We had 15 or 12 people, and I kind of freaked out. So for 2 weeks, we only had like 12 or 13 people. And it was like 2 weeks before the actual conference, we got everybody else. Last year, 30 days out, we had 24, 25 people. This year, we had 50 people. So,
yeah. So we look for possibly 150, 200 people this year.
Yeah.
And that's, that's
I'm thinking,
good for us.
because we did 150 last year. I'm hoping for 175 to 200.
Yeah, good times.
Yep, and the space will hold about 350 comfortably.
Yeah, before they call the fire marshal.
Well, just before it becomes everybody's just stepping on everybody else.
Well, I mean, at some point they'll call the fire marshal if we have too many people. But anyway, no, I'm sure we'll be fine. That's the best thing about HackerCon Secure WV is it's a small conference, and
yep.
That's the best thing about small conferences. You can actually get to talk to people.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like if you want to talk to one of the speakers and ask them a question, you can sit down and say, "Hey." So
awesome. Yeah. So let's do some stories.
Let's do stories. These?
Stories of interest.
Sorry.
What? Who? What? Who? What? Reaper malware outshines Mariah. Gets millions of IoT devices. So we haven't seen the last of Internet of Things botnets, apparently.
No. Well, and this just drives home that people are buying all these IoT devices, and what are the update processes?
Well, what's the process for changing the default passwords? I mean, that's the thing is that they're selling insecure devices and they're not giving people proper education. I mean, the FTC has gotten involved with these devices. We keep expanding the Internet of Things, but we still are not thinking about security. And
Nope.
yeah, it could take down the internet again. It's not like it's not like it hasn't happened before. Pretty close to. Big swaths of the internet got knocked offline. And apparently, this is a new version of the same malware, and it's a lot better.
Yeah, they fixed it.
Have they fixed it?
Yeah, was it this one or the bad? No, it's Bad Rabbit. Where
Well,
they
there's two. Well, there's a couple out there. There's Reaper, and I'm not sure if they're the same malware with a different name. Bad Rabbit's the next story, actually. Bad Rabbit is a similar. Bad Rabbit is actually ransomware, which affects Windows machines.
Yeah. So the Reaper is based off of the Mariah code,
right? Which was
and
written in Go.
Written in Go, and so they've updated it and worked on that. But then the Bad Rabbit is the PETA, not PETA or whatever.
Right.
Petra.
That's basically was based on the Shadow Brokers leaks from the spring.
Yep. So
they've actually taken that code and fixed it and upgraded it. So yeah, it's pretty dangerous stuff. So we have botnets and ransomware. Again, we're seeing the same threats over and over and over again. We should have Matt Perry on talk about how he survived ransomware twice.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a hold of him though. He doesn't have an internet connection at home.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do anything, it'll have to be early in the evening. Did you see this story? Clinic pays ransom after backups encrypted an attack.
Yeah, I saw the headline and kind of a synopsis of it, but I didn't get to get into the story. I saw it pop up a couple of days ago. So what's going on?
You're worse than my students. So I guess the basic question is if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in the first place, why would you be paying ransoms? If we continue to pay ransoms, it's just going to make the attackers continue to attack.
Yep. Well, and then it's like, it always goes back to that. You're going to get a key to decrypt your data or to decrypt data, but is it yours or, yeah, so you can't. I mean, you're paying a shadow group who broke the law to encrypt your stuff in the first place. So why do you think paying them's actually going to get you what you want? I don't know.
Sometimes they don't. It doesn't decrypt.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So it goes back to sitting there and ensuring that you're paying attention to what's going on your systems and backups.
Right.
You may lose a day, but do would you rather pay for it and hope to get it decrypted or wipe the machine and lose a day? I don't know. Depends on what your business is, I guess.
Well, in the case of this place, the entire place was offline because of it. So they paid the ransom to try to get their stuff back because they were desperate, right?
Yeah.
Because not only did they encrypt their data, they also encrypted their backups. The question I have is that when does this become a situation where someone dies?
Well,
if you don't have access to electronic health records and you're a medical provider and you need access in order to save somebody's life, it's a problem.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I honestly I'm surprised that we haven't seen that yet.
Well, we may have. It's not being reported because it's like everything else.
That's true.
If I were an entity that had that happen, I would do my best to sweep it under the rug because they really don't have any reporting duties other than law enforcement.
Yeah.
And then they have to say then is this guy's dead or this woman's dead of medical causes, and they don't really talk about, well, we had this ransomware.
Yep. But then, I mean, you got to think, then you look at once people find out, what happens?
Well, people freak out. I think that's one of the reasons that, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, there's this ongoing debate. Has anyone ever died of cyber warfare? It depends on who you talk to and what day it is. Who comes back with an answer? We don't know. And what we don't know, we don't know. If somebody finds out, I mean, I guess it's going to be a big problem.
Well, think about it from a public relations standpoint.
Think of a public trust standpoint. I mean, you're going to trust.
Well, yes, but I mean, so you're sitting there. You're a hospital. Your stuff gets encrypted. You pay it right off the bat, and there's some flaws. People die before you get it unencrypted. Or B, it doesn't get it unencrypted. So now you're still stuck. What do you do? So then
start over from scratch as best you can.
Well, but then you have patients die and you sweep it under the rug.
Well, I mean, at some point you have to say that we've got a critical problem here. I mean, this happened to a hospital in West Virginia. All they did was they fell back on paper records. My question is, where the hell did they get paper records? Because electronic health records was mandated years ago. No one should really be keeping paper records, but I guess there are some paper records.
Well, but I would argue that would be your backup strategy. Case in point, power goes out. Electronic records aren't going to help you.
I don't know. That's a good question. We should have somebody from healthcare come talk about it because I don't know.
Yeah.
And if there's any listeners who work in healthcare who would like to come on and talk about this, let me know. I mean, I know some people in healthcare. Maybe we can get them on. But it's one of those things that people don't want to talk about. It's like car manufacturers really don't want to talk about how many people die in their cars every year, right? It's not good PR.
Again, yeah.
Now we're out of stories. Oh, no, we're not. Cyber conflict decoy document used in real cyber conflict. So apparently, people who were going to a conference on cyber warfare, Cisco Telus discovered a new campaign by well-known actor Group 74, which is also known as APT 28, Fancy Bear, so fancy. And it's a flyer, it's a PDF for the Cyber Conflict Conference. CyCon is a collaborative effort between the United States Army Institute and NATO. But apparently these people were sent malware, which appears to be a flyer for the conference, which actually contained APT 28.
Interesting. Well, as a side reference, we're going to have a speaker who actually works at the Army Cyber Institute for West Point.
Really?
Yep.
Who's that?
Let me get his name. I want to say Eric Wong, but I don't know if that.
I don't think it's Eric.
Ernest Wong.
Ernest Wong, yeah.
Yep, he is speaking right after Ira on Friday morning at 11, and he is actually an instructor at the West Point Cyber Institute, because I had to look it up. I was like, interesting.
Yes, he teaches at West Point, so that'll be interesting to see what he has to say about the cybers, the warring cybers.
Yeah, that would be interesting to get his take on this.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll talk about it, but I guess he could.
Well, yeah.
That's the thing about cyber warfare is that it's so secretive. We don't know what's going on half the time, and you know, a lot of the signal stuff is done behind a veil.
Yep.
So the
So
FBI files on the JFK Kennington, the government files on the JFK the JFK assassination have been released. Apparently, not all of them though.
nope. So what is it? 3,000 were released.
Yeah, but there's
I
still
was just looking at
apparently some. It makes you wonder what's in those files that they won't release them.
pictures of the grassy knoll.
Well, I mean, I think that there's probably a conspiracy. Like it was, they have, or they still have ways that they got the intelligence that they don't want to reveal even 50 years later, 50 plus years later. I mean, that was 53 years ago. You would think that, strange. I don't know. I guess if you had a smoking gun saying the Soviet Union or Cuba ordered the assassination and carried it out, that's a problem.
Yeah, that is true.
Even today, because both those states exist. And the other thing is that if you want to go down the rabbit hole, there are so many different conspiracy theories that if any of them were actually proven to be true, it would not be good for a lot of people or a lot of agencies. So,
yeah.
But they've apparently convinced President Trump to forego releasing everything.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, going back to the Talos document.
Yeah.
This is a PDF, but there was also a release, and I was looking for it a minute ago. Was it Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe, where there was a 0 day for office documents.
Isn't it like every day?
Well, I kind of thought the same thing when I saw it. I'm like, really, what?
I get so many. I mean, I get so many notifications of new attack vectors that after a while you just start to glaze over. I glaze over and I thank God I'm not a network defender.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy part about it is, there are so many good researchers on Twitter that I follow, and it's just like, I mean, you can see this stuff hitting, or like Bad Rabbit. I was going to say Bad Robot, so but Bad Rabbit, I saw it like, I want to say it was Sunday night or Monday morning. I think it was Monday morning. I think her name is Malware Unicorn. She started talking about it. I'm like, what the heck is this? And then it was like 4 or 5 other people started picking up on it. And then came out Tuesday that it was hitting everything. And I'm like, wow, that's I think it was Bad Robot or Bad Rabbit. See, I did it again.
Bad Robot.
Yeah. So the thing that I thought was kind of interesting in the Bad Rabbit was it gives a web service at an Onion address. And okay, if it hits you, first of all, you probably, you probably were not taking care of your machine or paying attention or whatever, and it got hit. I truly don't know. There's several ways that it's attacking. So would someone actually know that's on Tor? I don't know.
I've seen you've seen the videos, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I think she had a couple of them on her website.
On Twitter. It's amazingly quick how fast it encrypts stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And the first one I saw, it was like I said, they just said, "Oh, this is Bad Robot or Bad Rabbit." See, I'm doing it again.
This is Mr. Robot. I mean, Bad.
This is J.J. Abrams' production crew.
Mr. Rabbit.
Yeah, Mr. Rabbit. So, but they're like, here it is in action. And I'm like, what is this? And there was, no one else had started commenting on it. And I started watching, all these pop-ups came up, and I'm like, I don't even know what, I could tell what it was doing, but I had no context around it. That was really odd. So, but, it comes down to, are people paying attention? Non-tech people, are they paying attention when this stuff comes up?
No, probably not. I mean, if you were a non-techie person and you saw this stuff like all the time, I'm a technical person, and I get malaise.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, again. Well, at least I'm not using Windows. The only thing you can really do as a system administrator or user is to update when updates come out.
Mm-hmm.
Install EMET, unless you're using a later version of Windows. I was doing a talk. I talked to 900 middle schoolers and their parents about online safety last week. Well, this week, excuse me. And at the parents session asked how many people were still using Windows XP, and people are still using Windows XP.
Well, yeah, people don't understand moving to the newer system.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you cut out for a sec.
Oh, sorry. People don't, they don't understand using the newer systems and why you need to update Windows per se. I don't know. It's really odd until we can get people to understand. Yes, it's a money making thing for iPhones to get it, to make you buy a new iPhone every year, or Windows, to get a new laptop or a new computer every couple of years. But it's more than just that. It's getting better software, better things on it. XP is dead, and even if you don't want to upgrade to Windows 10, just moving up to Windows 7 maybe.
Yeah, even 7 has its own issues.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect.
And I mean, I don't know. I mean, you should be using something that at least is still receiving security updates.
Yep.
And a lot of people are having issues with the new version of iOS. And I'll admit I'm a couple of iOS behind because I don't want all the problems that come with an upgrade. But unless you're keeping stuff up to date, I see people with iPhones, iPhone 3s, iPhone 4s. You can't even update those.
Yep.
So yeah, they're vulnerable.
Yeah. See, that's why I kind of push Linux in that sense, especially for people that are they have older equipment, and they're not doing a whole lot. The thing that I love about my distro, and most distros do this, and Windows does it as well, but if I want to make sure that everything on the system is updated, it tells me it updates everything, not just with Windows. It's it updates Windows, but then you have to go to Adobe.
Right, exactly. Third-party updates. Mac the same way. When I was a Windows administrator, you actually used third-party pieces of software that would push third-party updates and double check and remediate Windows updates, because WSUS or WUS, which still is the funniest thing in the world, or whatever they call it this week, sometimes didn't run correctly.
Yeah. I actually had a it was a third-party app that on my dashboard on my Mac would go out and check, if I downloaded an application and installed it, it would tell me, hey, there's a new update here. But even I mean, you can alleviate some of that on Windows by going in, and if they have the ability to check for updates every time that it opens, it's annoying sometimes.
But it makes you wonder how many people actually do that. I mean, we
Well,
were
that's what I'm
starting the
saying.
podcast, and I got a pop up about Java, which I need to uninstall this computer because I don't use it. But because I used to use it with because I used a piece of software which was free because we did concept maps in one of my classes, and I don't need it now. So why update it when you just uninstall it?
Right. And how many people have that on their, oh, I downloaded this app and I don't use it anymore. So they're not using it, so they're not paying attention to it. So now, how old is it?
Right.
So there's just a lot of things that operating system, Mac and Windows could do better by, adding that feature of going out and checking to make sure that third-party application is up and running. Or, that could be another thing. Someone could create an application that would go and check to see what's on your system, and could go out, a script or whatever. But computering is hard.
Yes, it is. I'm uninstalling Java right now while we're talking.
And the podcast stops.
No, I don't need it.
I mean, because it's running. Well, that's the thing that gets me is how many security products use Java.
None.
No.
Well, I mean, there are some, but I mean, in all honesty, how many applications require you use Java? Most people think they need it in order to surf the internet.
Yes, some people do believe that, and because at one time, I guess a lot of people had Java applets on their pages, but it's not true anymore. I'm trying to think of it's amazing how many I run into this all the time. How many applications still rely on it in some way, and it's like, why won't this die? It's like Flash.
There's not many.
More than what you think.
No. I have not found anything I can't do without Java in my life.
We'll have to talk offline sometime. Because some of the tools that I use, you have to have Java. But yeah, I mean, there's little things like that. How can we get rid of this crappy software? I don't know.
I'm going to actually put a link in show notes on how to install Java from your Mac. Edit, paste, match style. It's very easy. You can use the command line. You can use the GUI. I use the command line.
That's another thing that gets me is how many people that use Macs that don't understand the command line.
You know what grinds my gears? I'm kidding.
What?
You know what makes me crazy? I'm sorry. We're starting to sound like there's people do the radio, commentaries. You know what drives me crazy? No, I understand what you're saying, because technical people, and I'm very command line driven. But what's really strange is that I never use it unless I have to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in Linux, I'm like, screw the GUI. I'm just going to move around, launch applications. I'm going to do this. I'm going to edit files. On Mac, I don't think about it.
Really?
Even though it's there. No, very rarely.
On my Mac and my Linux, I have at least two command lines open, two terminals open. On my Windows machine, I have at least two Cygwin command line terminals open.
Yeah, I know it's there, but I rarely use it.
I need to get more used to PowerShell.
Me and you both, brother. Me and you both. Post
Hey,
exploitation. I'm teaching exploitation. It's post exploitation right now. And it's all interpreter because PowerShell and I are not friends.
um, Carlos is actually doing his PowerShell class. He's actually open sourcing that or making it into a bunch of blog posts.
Yeah. What else does he have to do besides sit in the dark?
I figure he has a lot to do down there.
Yeah, I think he actually posted that he needed to start working on stuff in order to keep his mind off everything.
Yeah.
Because how like 70% of Puerto Rico still doesn't have water, and higher than that still doesn't have electricity.
Yep.
So I actually saw where he was. He's posted a lot of stuff, and I think part of it too was he was going to open source his PowerShell class. Well, Mick is going to teach PowerShell. He's going to look at it, I think, from a defensive angle. And one of the things he was going to talk about tonight is some of the new tools that he's released.
Yeah,
or not releasing.
I don't want to talk about him because I really want to get his take on them.
Well, I mean, they're his tools apparently, so
yeah,
he can definitely give you a take.
And I want to say I can't remember which one he is going to. Let me look at the schedule again. So his PowerShell class is on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have the talk is PowerShell for IR, which I think has those tools in it, and that is on Sunday. And his PowerShell class is on Saturday, which I think he also goes over the tools. So when you do hear it, if you want to know more about it, HackerCon, he'll be there. So, yeah.
My cat never comes and bothers me unless I'm trying to talk to somebody on the phone or doing a podcast. I think he thinks I'm talking to him.
Could. My dog kind of does the same thing. The moment I have to get on a call, he comes running down the stairs and wants to play.
Hey, what's going on? Who are you talking to?
Yeah. Or he picks that time that he has to go out.
Yeah, exactly. I think I need to go out now.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost at an hour. Well, we're probably at 40 minutes. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I can't think of anything.
Trying to think if I need to talk about anything, and I don't think there's anything I need to talk about either. No announcements. HackerCon is the next big thing coming up. We're just past midterms at school, so it's been a long semester, but in a short semester. You know what I mean? It seems like it's been a long semester, but it doesn't seem like we've been at it that long. I think this is the point when everyone gets tired, but.
Well, I met for the first time with the CCDC team
last night.
Yeah, last night, and yeah, we're there's quite a few things that we're going to try and do over the next few weeks.
Did you have a good turnout?
Yeah, there was. I want to say about 10.
Any females?
1, 2.
That's great.
3.
Yeah, I know some of them have been going. I don't know if they'd be back or not.
3 or 4. One got up and left about halfway. I don't know if she had to go to class or something, but
she probably had to go to class. I can tell you right now probably who it was. But no, that's cool. We also have a double major who's been doing CCDC. She's both a digital forensics and information assurance major and a computer science major. So,
nice.
That's got to be a tough row to hoe.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she'll have mucho skills when she graduates.
Yep.
We've grown from a specialization or an emphasis inside another degree program to when we first rolled out the degree, we had 5 students. Now we're over 100.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're bursting at the seams, and we're continuing to recruit students, and we're working on a master's program. So things have gotten interesting over the last few years.
So what do you need to get into the master's program?
I don't know yet because it hasn't been finalized. It hasn't
Oh,
been
okay.
finalized, but it
So
should
I'm
be.
guessing you need a bachelor's degree, right?
You'll
I
have to
might
have a
need to.
bachelor's degree, and you're probably going to have a specific grade point average. And I'm not sure what Marshall's graduate school is off the top of my head, but it's gonna have to at least be that. So it'd be like applying for any undergraduate program at Marshall University, but it still has to go through the hoops. We still have a lot of hoop jumping.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I just
so,
don't want to go back to school for a master's.
well, I understand. One thing we are trying to do is it's going to be taught. We're planning on teaching online or as a hybrid courses, so you wouldn't have to come to class except maybe 1 or 2 a year, or we could do the synchronous classes online with everyone just connecting to whatever Blackboard has and have a big phone conference. But they do that in other programs. So we'd like to see it being a quote online program.
Yeah, my daughter is state started doing strictly all online classes
Yeah.
for this semester, and so now you have the option of taking online, um, and she wants to complete her degree that way. And I'm like, oh crap.
We teach a lot of our classes online now. The problem is to get a class online is also some hoop jumping because it
Yeah.
has to meet quality matters, standards, etc. So I have 3 classes online right now. Cyber warfare, network penetration, attack, and network defense are all taught online. It's part of the undergraduate information assurance program. Um, information assurance certificate. You can get a undergraduate academic certificate in information assurance. Um, but we're looking at maybe even doing a digital forensics and information assurance graduate certificate before we do a degree because it's less hoops. But anyway, all that's complicated academic BS. I'm sure nobody wants to really talk about. But keep your eyes, stay
Well,
tuned, and we'll announce when we have actual programs. We can announce what.
so while we're talking about that, why don't you explain so that because you might have somebody who's actually interested in one of these, what the difference is between a degree versus a certificate,
Well,
and why you would want one versus the other.
a degree is a 4-year degree where you take all of the courses required for a 4-year degree. So you'd have to take English, you'd have to take, all the core curriculum, critical thinking, first year seminar, English, 2 semesters of English, your math requirement depending on your college, etc. Um, and all the electives as well as your major field of study. And that's a 4-year degree. And a 4-year degree is to teach you how to be a critical thinker and how to, think well as teaching you about your field of study. The case of a undergraduate certificate, especially if you're a working professional, you can come back and get an academic certificate, which says that basically you know what you're doing, or you can. What are you doing?
Oh, sorry, is that coming through?
Yes.
Sorry.
So basically, undergraduate certificates get somebody who's already completed university with another degree or has no college experience but wants some sort of academic cred. And of course, a degree is going to be over 100 hours worth of credit. Undergraduate certificate is basically 12 hours, 9 to 12 hours, depending on the undergraduate certificate. So presently, we have an undergraduate certificate in information assurance, which is a class that's currently called Technology Foundations, Network Penetration Attack, Deep Network Defense, and Cyber Warfare. So it's 12 hours. And we
So
offer
can
all
you
those
club
courses.
out of? Oh, go ahead.
Well, you could get out of 264. You can get out of that if you can show that you have a technical background, but the rest of them you'd have to take.
Okay, cool.
And
you never know. We might have someone listening that.
And they're all
goes,
taught online. They're taught online.
Oh, nice.
Now we try to teach as much as we can online, but it's going to take more than a semester to complete this, or two. It may take 2 or 3 semesters to complete it. But I'm actually going to make a push for me to teach more of my classes online, not because I don't want to teach them in class. I really like hanging out with my students, but we also want to serve people who are non-traditional students.
Yeah. So would those online classes be taught during the day, or?
Well, those online classes are basically taught whenever. You basically do it as whenever you have time, and I usually do those self-paced. So you have 16 weeks in a fall. If it's taught fall, spring, or summer one, it's all 16 weeks. So you have 16 weeks to complete basically 16 modules.
Okay, yeah, that's the way Katie's. Basically, she has a week to do. She'll get an assignment, but then she has a week to do it, and then she liked it. The way they did it for this one is she had 5 classes that she was going to take during the semester. She did 3 the first 8 weeks, and then 3 or the last 2 this last 8 weeks. So same thing. So
this is weird.
Yeah. What?
Apparently, I told my Chrome to sync up the bookmarks, so now I can't find bookmarks that I need.
Yeah.
This is a problem. Okay, I found it.
You can do a search, right?
Yeah, I was looking for Audio Boom so I can upload this when I'm done. I haven't done one for a month, so I'll have to sign in and everything.
Slacker.
Yeah, I know I suck.
It's not like you haven't been teaching or something.
Well, I mean, it's just been crazy. The last episode we have is the DerbyCon Podcasters Meetup, which was a complete cluster. And before that was actually a show with you.
Yeah, I meant to come up to the or go to the meetup, and I got working on that capture the flag and got hooked, and I looked up and I'm like, crap, they're already done. So,
well, I appreciate you coming on.
welcome.
I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing uploaded, and we'll see everyone next week. Yay, HackerCon.
Yay, HackerCon.
Good night, everybody.